Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome to the Force of One Facebook Live broadcast. If you joined us for the first time, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. If you are unfamiliar with the Force of One organization, our mission is to bring experts and entrepreneurs from around the world to share information to raise capital consciousness in our community. For the past 11 years, we have a signature program called Father and Son Red Tie Luncheon. And for this particular program, we bring together fathers and sons, grandfathers and grandsons, mentors and mentees for the sole purpose of connection. And one of the activities that we do is called Breaking of the Bread, which allows the men to gather together and they begin in a safe environment, allows them to be transparent with one another. So to promote healing and from the past hurts and pains and whatever situation that we're going through, just to build the trust and bond in that particular area. And we have a father and sons activity which allows fathers and sons to grow a deeper bond with each other that goes beyond parenting. And we bring expert speakers from around the world to share information, to provide tools so that men can have, something they can respond to better than react to things better. So that knowledge and information that is shared allows them to live out a better life and connect with their purpose, and also to treat our community from a different perspective in a different way. And we're delighted to keep our series going. We're keeping it fresh as we bring in couples to share their stories, whether it be in season, out of season, whatever it is, just to have lessons so that we can learn from. And we thank you for that. So, Dr. Frank.
Amen. Amen. Lord, I want to thank you for this beautiful couple tonight. So I mean, they are beautiful, man. I've been knowing your wife. She don't remember me. I'm sure she don't, like from the church ever since she was a little girl. Watched her grow up, man, grew into be a beautiful young lady, man. So I just thank God for both of you all. And so we in for a treat tonight, people. We got two lovely couples on here now. Some people, some young couple may be out there on the fence trying to figure out whether I should get married or not. So many people today have a problem making a decision, making that commitment to go forward, to join union with one another. They just realize how complete their life would be and how much smoother it would be if you just learn how to join forces, with a woman, because a man is not complete without a woman by his side.
Wait, say that one more time, because that's a word. You got to say that again.
A man is not complete without a woman by his side. So otherwise, you can do so much more, man. Just go ahead and make that commitment and get married. And that's why I try to encourage young guys to do at an early age, in their younger age. Because like me, myself, I got married when I was like 20, I think I was 22 when I got married. And then I was married for 44 years up until I lost my wife about 3 years ago. A little over 3 years now, almost 4 years. So it was a beautiful thing, man. So now I wouldn't be the person I am today had not been for my wife. I'm sure I am. I wouldn't have been. And so that's why I said, man, I just love to see young couples, coming together, willing to make that commitment, because life, you're not going to do too much in life until you get committed. So many people's in life, they interested in a lot of things, but they're not committed to it. So in the life, success and everything shows up in your life once you get committed. So I got these two beautiful couples that's on tonight, guys. I just pray and hope that anybody, like a lot of you out there in Facebook world, got pen and pad out, really ready and willing to take good notes, something they're going to be able to enhance your life better. So now I pray and hope some of the things that's been in the back of your mind that you've been a little puzzled about, not so sure, not knowing which direction to go in. I pray and hope that after the night, God used this couple right here to be able to shine some light on some things and give you a new gateway, something to go through. So I'm not going to further time. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to ask these lovely couple right here to introduce themselves. Who is the Deans? Lady first.
Okay. Well, to start, I really had to figure out who I was separately before I associate myself as a wife. Because for a long time I didn't see myself as a wife. I didn't want to be a wife. You could ask my sister. I would tell her all the time. I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna be
Yeah,
married."
Amos, she hadn't met you at that time, had she, Amos? That's
I
why she.
know, like she just didn't meet the right
No.
one.
I honestly got so far from it. I was like, Lord, the beautiful white picket fence dream is like get married and all that, but I'm a strong minded woman. I don't I don't know how that's gonna work. But honestly, just finding my place with God and falling back in love with God, because like you said, I've always been around the church. I've always been in the church with my mom and being very, very active in the church, whether it was choir or just youth groups and all that. But I just felt like I was living this double life, and getting into a relationship and then getting into marriage and having that marriage mindset where I got married to God first before I married Amos. And so really, just to answer your question, it was a whole journey of figuring out who I was, and then just relearning how beautiful life can be when you become a wife and what it brings out of you and how it matures you and grows you. So the Deans are just a depiction of growth, a depiction of something that's not perfect, but it's something that is beautiful to strive after, and you make it what you want it to be if you keep on putting that work into it.
Man, I couldn't have said that better myself. She dropped the mic with that.
But I feel the same way, like honestly, because it's like I feel like you can't love somebody without like first loving Christ. First getting that relationship with Christ, because it's gonna be flawed. You're gonna love them based off of your feelings and what you feel like they did, and then that's unstable. You know what I mean? Because it's like one minute you'll love them because you're happy, the next minute you won't because you're not. So, I was the same way. Starting off, I was kind of like not really that secure with my relationship with God, and it wasn't until I made that decision that I'm gonna follow God with all my heart. I'm not perfect, but I'm gonna try. If I fall, I'm gonna get back up and keep it moving. And then through that relationship, then God started like dealing with me. You know what I mean, and helping me to be a better man. Mm-hmm. And that's the journey for me.
Mm-hmm. And that's awesome, man. So we ain't gonna be able to do anything without God. So you got to be able to bring God into it. That's the reason so many marriage and things doesn't last, because they done edge God out. And marriage is a growing thing, man. Like you'll know as you wait until you learn and know everything there is to know about marriage, you'll never get married, because you will learn more about marriage and more about one another after you get married than you did before you got married.
Yeah,
so like definitely. Going into a business, as you wait until you learn everything there is to know about a business before you start your business, you'll never start it, because you'll learn more once you start it than you did before you started. Mm-hmm. So once again, man, I appreciate you all for coming on tonight, and I just want to ask you now, how did y'all meet?
Man, woo! You want to start that on me? Because
it was a roller coaster.
It was a roller
coaster. So let me tell you. All right. So, at my job, I don't know if you know or not, but I work at a daycare, and we make this little crack about COVID babies, right? So our relationship was literally on the cusp of COVID. Like the second that COVID started, that's when we got knowledgeable of each other. And before we met each other, we were actually both in relationships, and we were both, before we knew each other, we were seeking God, and we were both just trying to figure out like this walk. Because at least for me personally, and you can go a little bit more into detail, but with my life, I was just trying to figure things out. I was becoming an adult. I was walking into adulthood. I was on my own finally at college. I had 2 jobs and an internship. I was striving hard. I was this person where I was like, if nobody else is going to get it for me, I'm going to get it for myself. And sometimes that can take God out of things, because now you want full control. And so imagine that kind of person now looking for a relationship is going to be faulty, because you're looking for somebody that is not a person that's hungry for God. It's not somebody that is humble. It's somebody that is super, super prideful. It's not an ear to listen, and it's definitely not a submissive one at all. And so while that time was going on, I was in a relationship. I was with somebody that I was dating since I was 16, and we had been on and off, on and on and off. And my dad told me straight up, he was like, this is not the one. He's a sweet person, but this is not the person. He's changing you, not for the good. And I was like, well, Daddy, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, at this point, I'm grown. I want to settle. I want to have somebody that'll change my mind and make me want to get into a relationship. And one of those nights I had came home to visit them, and we got in this loud altercation. And I've always been somebody with very, very high respect for my parents. And I just flew off the handle. I was going off. I was loud. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go home. I don't have to stay here. Like, it is what it is. And God was just working on my heart, working on my mind in that moment. And I was like, this is not peace. And if I'm expecting to bring somebody into this situation, somebody that's supposed to love my father, I was praying since I was 14, because I was actually raped and molested as a kid. And I think that's kind of what had to do with my strong-mindedness, or feeling like I just needed to be by myself because nobody else could take care of me. I needed control of my own life. And God was just dealing with me and telling me, like, I need healing before anything. So just from that whole blow up, that situation, I was like, okay, God, I'm put all cards on the table. I'm gonna move back home. I'm gonna end my lease. I'm going to go on fire for you as best as I can. I'm gonna fast. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. And during the fast, I met up with some girlfriends. I was talking to them 7 times. I kid you not. None of my friends knew each other. Like, they're all like unknowledgeable of them at all. And each and every one of them in a different way said, this is not the person you need to be with. You need to run. And so I was like, okay, God, like, I'm starting to believe, like, maybe this is you. I was looking for confirmation, but I guess this is you. So I broke up with him. I marked it on my calendar that we got separated. And I really just went on this rampage for God. And it was literally not even, I really have to look at the calendar, but it's miraculous how quickly things happen when I said, okay, God, I release control. But I told him, I was like, okay, I'm done. We can't talk anymore. It is what it is. And I download this app for business partners. And I'm flipping through. I chose the profile that said only females are supposed to go through this little filter, because I was like, I'm not on the foolery with no more men. I just got my life together, Lord. Don't let me get caught up. And I'm just going through this app, and it was called Hinge. The app that was called Hinge, and it's for friends, business partners, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking through, and this third person that I saw on here is not a female. It is a man. And, you know, this day and age, I'm like, Lord, you know, bless the confused people out there that need to be awoken and realize what's going on with their binary situations. But let me check out this profile. So I started looking.
Oh, wait, hold on. So basically what she said was she thought that I was a woman.
I did.
What?
No, honestly.
Look, this is the first time I heard this.
I don't want to offend you, but I was like, okay, let me see. This is honestly what made me originally click on your page first. What? And so I'm looking through, and he had this little cute quote or question. I was like, this man done Googled it, but it's okay. He said something about, like, do I want to step 10 minutes in the future or 10 minutes in the past or something like that. And so we just started talking that whole entire night. We were talking for hours. And then I was like, okay, I'm not about to get hooked up on no man. And on top of that, he's probably a catfish anyway. He's probably not real. He's probably like some female or something on the other side. And so I was like, okay, either he initiated or I initiated. And I was like, let's get on FaceTime. So we got on FaceTime. We were there like all night. We were talking about the Bible. We were talking about the word. And like, I was just so drawn to his intelligence, like the fact that he was so real and transparent and vulnerable. And I felt like he was just telling me all about myself, and I was like, this man doesn't know me from a can of paint. Like, I don't understand. But I was so like drawn to him, almost to the point where I was like, Lord, this is scary. Like, this is dangerous. Like, I don't want my heart to be entangled with nobody this closely, especially I just got out of my last relationship. And so fast forward on, we decided to meet in person. And what really told me that he was the one, I was waiting for him to basically come out and meet me. And I was in the car, and I remember just putting my head on the steering wheel, and I was like, Lord, I know I haven't maybe talked to you for a long time, but I know I have heavy discernment, like ain't nobody's business. And I know I'm an intercessor. If this the wrong moment, make me feel nauseous as I don't know what, so I can get out of here. And at that moment, he knocks on my window, and I felt no feeling at all. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to go for it. So I got out of the car, and we're starting to walk. And the first question he asked me was, how do you feel? And I'm thinking, like, that's the most weirdest statement you can ask somebody when you first meet them. Like, I haven't even been able to, like, get a conversation with you. What you mean? How do I feel? I feel nervous. And so we just got to talking. I was like, I feel peaceful. And the funny thing that he told me later.
Wait, I got to say mine. So, look, she's saying all that. All right, so. Wait, I'll let you finish first.
Okay, so I'm going to just cut it short. Long story short, I came in the house. I felt totally peace. God literally told me in my heart. He may have not said, thus saith the Lord, this is your husband. But the emotions that I felt was like, woman, you've never felt love before. The only love that you've ever felt was from your daddy and a father. And this kind of love, this kind of connection is the type of connection that like thrusts you into your purpose. This is the type of connection that makes you excited to live. This is the type of connection that makes you want to wake up out of the bed every morning and thank God for what you have beside you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is my husband. And I'm probably not going to tell him just yet because he's going to think I'm crazy, but I know this man is my husband. Mm-hmm. And we went on the back porch and we just talked for more time. Hours were just flying by, and we got in front of each other and started sharing our plans for life. And we even shared this vision of a nonprofit that we looked to start, and everything that I was missing, he was missing. And remind you, we've never known each other ever, but everything that I was missing, he had. And it was literally like, not that piece to complete us, because the only person that should complete us is God. We should be two whole people coming into a relationship because God's healed us and set us free. But it was just that helped me. Like, I felt a peace to finally be that help me. And I felt like, I can lose control because this is a man that's stepping up to a plate, and I can be under him and trust that he's going to follow God the way he's supposed to. And even going farther on, like us finding out that as we were kids, we went to the same middle school and never noticed each other. We always worked around the corner from each other. His house is 15 minutes away from my parents' house. Colleges that I was going to, and my jobs that I was working at, and apartments I was going to move into, we were always 10 to 15 minutes away from each other at all times. But one prayer that I remember praying since I was 14 up until when I met him was, Lord, please do not let me meet him until I'm ready. Prepare me, because I don't want to get in the way of his growth, and I don't want to get in the way of you, Lord. So in your timing. And when I thought it was totally out of season, I met the love of my life outside of God.
Wow. That's awesome. Man, that's so beautiful. So look, I gotta share mine now, right?
Yeah, let me say this right quick. Let me say this right quick. Sound like some of the things that she was sharing, man. You heard it for the very first time tonight yourself.
Nah, it's just man to hear that. It's like, man, I love this woman. You know what I mean? I'll marry her all over again. But so the question, how do we meet, right? So I gotta kind of backtrack before I can answer that as well. So, and it's weird because like while she said she was in a relationship, I was in a relationship, but the same thing, it wasn't fruitful for me. You know, like a godly relationship, one key indicator how you know it's from God is if it draws you closer to God. Mm-hmm. Well, it made me backslide. My relationship with God was so bad. Like I was drinking every day, doing stuff that is not me. You know what I mean? And then it's like the closer I would get to God, then I would hear God say, you got to leave this woman in order for us to continue to grow. Because like you're only gonna grow to a certain point because she rejected me. You know what I mean? So I would hear God say she rejected me, and she is going to stop you and me from growing. So you're gonna have to leave her in order to grow with me. And it's crazy because it's like I actually delayed doing that. Like thinking back at it, it's so crazy because it's like, how can somebody let a woman or a male stop them from growing with God, the creator of the universe? It's so crazy, right? Yeah. But that's how naive, like, I ain't gonna say naive, but that's how, like, confused I was pertaining to this. So all to say, I finally made up my mind, and I was like, I felt like back and forth, and I was like, man, it's got to be more to life. Like, I can't just live just to do this. I felt like I was just stuck, you know? So I was like, you know what, God? I give you my all. I'm about to do this. And I was like, just create a window of opportunity so I know that this is you, that, you know, that's doing this. And then, sure enough, if I'm not mistaken, it went even a day later. God was like, oh, yeah, bet. So this literally happened. And next thing you know, I was like, you know what? I'm about to do it. So I ended up breaking up with her, right? Dr. Frank, when I tell you, she literally she tried to kill herself. I'm gonna say that without saying too much. She tried to kill herself, and kind of traumatized me a little bit. So I was like, you know what? I'm taking a break from everything. I'm getting my life right with God, and that's all that matters. So that's where I was. That's where I was at the point of my life, and it's weird, like, because when I would hear Abby talking, she would say this like it's a different situation, but she went through the same thing. She went through the same process with God that brought her to 100% vulnerability. Like, God, I'm gonna give you everything, and I'm not putting nothing else before you. I'm following you with all my heart. So her heart position was like, I'm putting God first. My heart position was I was putting God first. And then after we made that decision that we was gonna follow God no matter what, He connected us. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because like I created this this Hinge app because I just wanted like, and it was for like anybody. Honestly, I wanted to like more godly friends because everybody around me, I didn't have godly people around me, and I realized that's what was causing me to backslide because I didn't have godly communication, godly people. It was always like worldly people, but then whenever I'm trying to live for God, they'll look at me like I'm weird, but it's like I don't have godly people around me. So I created this Hinge app so I can, you know, just have people around me. And then when we met, it was like I was still kind of traumatized. So I'm like, I don't know. Every part of me was saying don't talk to her, but then it was like this feeling that I couldn't resist. I was like, man, I got to get to know her. It was so weird. So we ended up getting to know each other, and I'm trying to say the things that she didn't say because I don't want it to be like the same thing. But fasting. Yeah. So after we met, then, you know, we were talking about it, and like we both felt the same feeling. I just didn't want to rush because I know I would always run into situations where I didn't put God in my relationship, so they would always fail. And I was like, man, I'm getting older. I'm not trying to be like doing this inconsistency. I want some stability. I want to actually be with somebody that's gonna last, and I know the only way that this is gonna happen is if it's from God. So I was like, look, I like you a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wait. Hold on. Let me interject right there because I remember this very clearly. I had been in a lot of relationships, and some of y'all, whoever may be watching this video, you in a relationship, but it ain't a relationship. You in a situationship, and one of the people don't want to put a title on it.
That's wait. I gotta finish.
Wait, so I'm gonna explain why I'm interjecting what you're saying. Okay. So I was tired of those situationships, and I knew this man was amazing and immaculate and everything I wanted. And so I was like, well, I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt. I might as well just know and cut ties right now. This is not what it is gonna be because we ain't doing this friends type thing because I'm not gonna be able to handle it. And so I walked up to him. I don't remember where we were in the house or whatever, but I had walked up to him and I was like, so what are we doing?
What are we doing?
So what are we doing here?
All right, so now I gotta finish it. So look, so that's what she said. And this is all true story. So she said, so what are we doing, right? So I kind of felt like cornered. You know, I was like, what are we doing? And then and it was weird because like I knew what I felt, but then I knew what I just went through. And mind you, this was like soon. This literally happened a couple weeks ago, and every part of me is like, this is crazy. Like, who in the world would leave a relationship and jump into another one? This doesn't make sense. So that's what I was saying. But then I was like, look, I tell you what. I said, let's do a fast. I said, let's fast about it. Let's pray about it. And if I hear God tells me yes, I'm going to go in it with all my heart. I'm going to go in it with everything I got. But that's the thing. I have to know that God is in this. It can't be Amos in this. It can't be my feelings. It has to be God. So we did this fast. And when we fasted, we asked God to break generational curses. We asked God to break soul ties. You know, like all of this different stuff. And when I tell you the third day, my exes went wild and like beating on the door, screaming crazy. And I knew it was a spirit behind that. The same day, her ex, both of her exes was like hitting her up the same day we did this.
My phone.
And it was like, I kid you not, it was so weird, right? But then we got this confirmation and we fasted for what? It was like 8 or 9 days?
7 days, and then we prayed the 8th day.
So yes, so about 8 days, and it's crazy because the 8th is the day of new beginnings. Like it's crazy. It's yeah. So it was like God was doing it, and then after that, I was like, all right, that was it. And I kid you not. So 6 months after we met, we got engaged, and 6 months after we got engaged, we got married. That was literally how quick it was. From the moment we met, a year from when we met, we actually got married. And it was weird because when we first met, when we did this video call, I would look at her, and then when I seen her, then God would show me things about her that I didn't know, that nobody would know.
It was so
He told me that like she was a runner, like it was a lot of different things, and he was kind of like being my wingman and coaching me on like how to talk and how to treat her. I kid you not, it was so weird, and it was like wow, like I can't explain it. It was crazy.
It's divine. That's what this is. That's divine. This is divine marriage. That's what it seems like. Cause you can't explain. There's a lot of things you can't explain what is divine.
Yeah, it's so divine. Like it was one time where like when we first met, she was, I don't know if we were together. I don't know if we were still like if we were still like talking and getting to know each other. But she like rushed out the house and she jetted on me. Like seriously, she was gone. And then she like, I thought she blocked my number or something. All I know is like,
I put it on do not disturb, airplane mode, and something else. No, because I was joking with him, and I was like, how would you feel if I never saw you again? And really, this was like my ultimate, like, this is Abby, get out of jail free card, like, so you don't get your heart broken type thing. Because he told you we're going to be great friends, and I'm not trying to be great friends. So I put it on all types of like do not disturb, and his phone call still went through,
and it was like, it was weird because it was like God was talking through me. It wasn't how I talk. So I was like, the phone conversation went something like, what did I say? I was like, I asked her different questions so that she can answer for herself, to talk herself off the ledge, and that's not even how I talk. Like I'm usually like hey, what's going on, you know, like this. But it was like I was asking her questions that, like, so she can answer it, to give her the reassurance that she need to bring her back in. It was all God, because that's not even me. It was definitely divine. And then ever since then, we just started doing kingdom stuff, like doing, like living for God as a couple, you know? So powerful.
Wow, that's awesome, man. You know, like when God in it, everything going. Sometimes, you know, like sometimes you have to go through the rough part in order to get to the smooth part. Just listen to y'all now. Just listen to from time that we talk. Just listen to how your marriage is. Like you done shaved off all the rough spots. Now you came up on the rough side of the mountain. Now you living a life now that paid off. You know, climbing that mountain, it paid off. Sometimes you have to do that. You have to go through in order to get to. And so that's what it sounds like, man, because Satan gonna do all he can to try to keep you apart when it's divine. So but y'all survived that. And that's awesome, man. You know, it's a good story. That sounds like this can be a movie right here. I don't know if you're working on a movie or not. But this can be a movie right here. And so that lets you know right there, just listen to you all, like when something for you is for you, you just got to just keep going. You can't quit. You can't afford to give up. because it sounded like to me like love from the first beginning, what it seemed like. You know? Like who was the first one asked the other party out?
Like to point out that they was. Go ahead.
I mentioned that, but I might have missed it.
Can you repeat that for me one more time?
Which one you all that asked the other party out on a date? I might have said it, but I might have missed it.
I don't.
That's hard.
Yeah, I want to say it was me. It was me because I wanted. All right, so I can't remember how I asked her, but we went out to. It's a place called Wild Animal Safari.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to like really get in her head, not get in her head like in a manipulative type of way, but like get in her head, see what's her mindset, so see how she think about different things, and I mean it's kind of weird because we went to like a drive-through petting zoo type of place, but it's like more of a relaxed thing, just to get a feel of like her life, what's her mindset with certain things. And you want to know something I realized about her whenever I did this? So when you're in a relationship, a lot of times we try to find a perfect candidate, then we try to make them a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then after that, then, we progress, we get engaged. But I actually found a wife. And it's weird because it's like, how in the Bible it says that he that find a wife find a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord? It's weird because they don't say who that finds a girlfriend or a fiance. It's like a who you are, A wife is who you are, and I feel like a lot of people try to make themselves to be a wife, but it's really who you are. And whenever you get to when you get with that person, then they're gonna captivate and grow these different characteristics, and they're gonna like blossom. When you get with the right person, you're gonna automatically do the things that you're supposed to do, husband and wife, if that makes sense. So it was weird because I identified all of these things about her, and I was like, man, this is truly a virtuous woman. Like, and it's crazy because I saved her number in my phone as virtuous woman. And that's what really intrigued me about her. It wasn't like she's beautiful like physically, but it wasn't the beauty on the outside. I was like, man, she is like literally different. She is like one of these women that I see in the Bible. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, she's not putting on. I can discern if somebody is putting on or not. I'm like, no, this is truly a virtuous woman. And I'm like, what? We got to get married. Like, this has to happen.
That's awesome, man. I love it. What was, I know you just mentioned that, so I don't need to go down. How difficult was it, or did you, go and ask her husband, not her husband, her dad for her hand in marriage? How difficult was that?
You gonna say?
Like, literally, I did not recognize my own daddy, because from what I had experienced to what I got, like, okay, so my daddy, bless his soul, me and my daddy are best friends. And when you are just alike, you bump heads all the time. And the way he raised me is I say what's on my mind, and sometimes it'll get me in trouble. And so with him, like, previously when I was with the wrong person, like, it was just like fire and ice. Like, we was just not getting along. And so I was like, okay, like, my daddy gives the gun speech, and he talks about he got military special set of skills, and I'm a little worried about him because I done heard the whole speech for my sister and when she got married, so like I'm nervous. And we were joking around, we were sitting, we usually hang out at my parents' house just for accountability and to make sure we're in the right state of mind. And so he was like, so how would you feel if I asked him to marry you? And I'm thinking in my head, how would you feel if I looked at you like you was crazy? But I didn't want to say that because this is not the type of game that you want to play. And so he was like, well, I'm going to do it. And I'm not expecting him to really be serious about it. I'm thinking he's joking around just to see what my opinion on marriage would be. Because previously, like, we knew we really cared about each other and we loved each other. But I didn't think he was like that serious 6 months in to like be close to proposing and to be that serious. I've never had that kind of seriousness before. And so he goes outside. He's outside for a minute. I didn't hear no gunshots, no nothing, no car tires screeching off trying to get away. So I'm peeking out the window trying to hear the conversation, make sure he's okay. I hear nothing but laughing and giggling. And so I was like, oh my gosh. Like, they're laughing outside. And my daddy is showing him the bikes and stuff. Like, they just best friends. And then he comes back in grinning ear to ear. And I was like, what happened? He was like, you'll find out later. And that was like the end of the story until later he proposed when he finally popped the question. But I was just mind blown. My mom knew from the very start. We would talk and I was like, Mom, I feel like I'm crazy. She was like, I feel like I'm crazy because normally I get a feeling or something and I got no feelings whatsoever. I just feel peace. Like, I feel like he's my son already. And just the amount of peace from everybody involved and accidentally coming to meet him and hang out. And I accidentally meet his dad and his brother on accident. And it was all cool. It was just like God was just drawing the whole entire family together before we even got married. Everybody just intertwined. And in all my relationships, I've never felt supported. Not that my parents didn't want to support me in a relationship, but just knowing when you're outside of the will of God and you want to settle just because, like, in your head, a lot of times we can say, oh no, this is a good relationship. He makes me happy or she makes me happy. But we know deep down on the inside, like, something's not right. Like, this is obviously not the person that God has for me. But because of what the world has shown us, because of how the world, there it is, the scripture, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Like, we get transformed, unfortunately, by the wrong thing, and our perspective changes, and we look at things in such a vulgar way, and it's hard to see the beauty in things. So God flipped the script on me. I didn't expect that at all. I was confused to who my daddy was or who he was talking to outside. It was just mind-blowing.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Like, her dad, when I asked, like, because I'm over here, I'm getting ready for it. I'm like, you know, like, playing in my head, like, all of the possible answers that he could say. And then I'm just like, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? You know, I know my feelings genuine. I mean, because I feel like I don't have kids, so I was like, okay, how would a dad want to hear this? If I had a child, how would I want, like, my daughter's boyfriend to come to me? So that's kind of what I thought, and I was like, came to him with respect, and I was just like, hey, just got a question. And it was crazy because it was like I feel like we were like, I was close with him because, like, when we talked, we kind of talked, like, he never really gave that, what's your intentions with my daughter, you know, type of thing. I think because he already knew, like, your intention, what? Yeah, exactly. It wasn't one of those. It was just, like, we talked. I guess he got to, like, through conversation and through discerning my spirit, I guess he got to see that my intentions were pure. And then it was just through a conversation. I was like, hey, so, I was thinking, you know, how would you feel about me proposing to your daughter? And he was just like, oh, I'm cool with it. I was like, wait, what?
What? Too like, quick. It scared you.
I was over here getting ready to, like, I had a whole page of defending and explaining, and I'm over here like, I didn't have to use none of it. I was like, what? But hey, whenever God is in something, you know, he's in something. Yeah.
God, that one thing about a man is just something about a man. A man can feel you. He feels your spirit. And so that you show character by coming to him, asking him. You know,
right.
And I'm sure he can respect that. So it takes a big man to do that. You know, that's awesome. Because they didn't try to discourage it or anything, trying to say, well, you all haven't been together, you don't know one another. So you need to give just a little bit more time. Well, none of that.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, none of that.
So that's awesome right there, man. That definitely, just from what I'm hearing tonight, it's definitely divine.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So I know there's no such thing as a perfect couple, this and that. But how do you all handle a difficult situation? Who the hot-headed one right here? Who the first one to say I'm sorry? You know, how do you all handle difficult?
Who's the hot one? Who's the hot-headed one? Who's the first one to say I'm sorry? All right, so,
You can tell on me. It's okay.
No, it's fine. I don't want to be biased. I would say, I think that Abby is she's the hot-headed one, I would say. I I would like, and don't get me wrong, I have my moments when I do, but I'm not, don't get me wrong, I ain't perfect, I mess up with this, but God been dealing with me with, like, setting the tone. So what God was telling me was, a leader always takes the most hits. And what I mean by that is, like, if I'm the leader and I'm the head of the household, that means that I have to set the tone for how the relationship is going to go, how an argument is going to go. I'm not perfect. I slip sometimes. Don't get me wrong. But for the most part, I try to make a conscious decision of, okay, if I can't lift my voice at you because I don't want you to think it's okay to do it to me. And then we don't have kids yet. So I want to already have the flow going. So whenever we have kids, they can just be born into this. And I want our kids to grow up and I want them to see so much godliness in the house, so much love in the house, and when they get outside of the world, then they walk outside and they say, man, something is really wrong, and then they come back inside and say, Mom, Dad, like this and this and this happened. I want that type of vibe, that type of like relationship for my household, but I know that takes sacrifice. That takes sometimes if she talks to you the wrong kind of way, you can't act out in emotion. You have to bite your tongue. You have to talk to her about it so that she know that it's not right. But you can't act out from your feelings. So it's just a lot of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I can speak of being the person on the other side. Like, I've always been just, I don't know. Like, I was afraid. I think I put up this hard front because I was afraid for somebody to truly see, like, okay, this girl is soft. Like, this girl has a lot of emotions here. She has a big heart. And for a woman, I don't know if men experience this, but only talking from a woman's standpoint, as a woman, a lot of times you're taught, like, don't wear your heart on the sleeve. You're too emotional. Don't chase. Never be the first one to text back. You're taught all these non-biblical ways of confrontation and also communication. And we have to get to this point where we learn that sharing your feelings and sharing your emotions and being vulnerable is not a weakness. Crying is not a weakness. Because if crying was a weakness, God wouldn't even allow our tear ducts to let water out. Like, it just wouldn't be a normal bodily function. And sometimes those emotions, being able to be vulnerable with your partner or in a relationship, a lot of times that shows that person you care. How much less likely would you be to respond in a conversation if somebody's just like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Like, that's going to shut somebody down. And so for Amos, at a very early time in our life, I was going through so much. My dad was in the ICU. He had just got his toe removed. So I was struggling with just the fear of, like, what's going on with him, because it was so up and down. Like, at one minute we thought it was just going to be amputation, and the next minute we thought that he might not live anymore. Like, it was bad. And then worrying about my mom, like, will she be able to take care of the household by herself? Do I need to get another job? Like, it was a lot. And then even dealing with my own insecurities and low self-esteem. And the enemy really went at me mentally. And it was warfare. It was heavy spiritual warfare in my own self. And so just having to remember, like, you're not in this alone, and to go at confrontation knowing that, okay, this doesn't need to leave us. Like, this conversation stays between us two, and we respect each other's boundaries, and we understand that even if we don't attack this conversation right now, we're looking at the conversation as, okay, this is the issue, we're going to handle it together, versus you're the issue or I'm the issue. And we always handle it together, whether it was the next day or we tried to, at some point in time, we even agreed that we're not going to let it pass into the night, because it talks about biblically not letting the day go down on your wrath. And making sure that we didn't even handle things like that, because obviously if it's in the Word of God, why would we just ignore it and be like, oh, that's just for somebody else, or oh, that's just for friends? Right. It's legit. It's to keep you in communion and in communication with somebody.
And then to add to that, so, like, you know how in the Bible it says be angry and sin not, right? So it's telling you it's not a bad thing to be angry, just don't sin when you do it. But then the very next verse after that, it tells you how long to be angry. Mm-hmm. It says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Mm-hmm. So we try to use, like, the Bible to really teach us how to treat each other, you know? And I mean, that's really the only way I would say that the only successful way to do it.
And just straight up own up sometimes, because it's so easy to be like, oh, this person did this to me, or you contributed to this. If you look at yourself first and say, okay, what parts did I contribute to this conversation? You'd be way easier to let it go.
Yeah.
Because you begin to see yourself in it. And you're like, well, Lord, I'm more in need of forgiveness than this person is. Like, I am a flawed, imperfect person. So God, do the work in me. And a lot of times when I started looking at the conversations like this, I was thinking about the other day when my mom had came over while we were still dating. We were all watching a movie. And I don't know what happened, but I was just being goofy and I threw a sock at your head. And it hit him pretty hard, and he didn't take it too kindly. And then I'm thinking in my head, well, who does he think he is? He can't take a joke, da-da-da-da. And for a man, it's all about respect. It's all about respect. And who knows what kind of place I took him to, not respecting him, and let alone in front of my mother. Like, that was just too far, whether it was playing or not. And I went downstairs and I took it to God, and I was like, Lord, I don't even know if he realized that was disrespectful, or if he was even thinking it that way, but Lord, forgive me. And I called him down to apologize, and then he apologized to me first. And I'm thinking like, whoa, like I took part in this, like come, let me apologize to you first. But it almost made me more excited to be vulnerable and to share with him, like, nah, I took the leave in it, and we handled it, and we took care of it. It was over. It was done. And then leaving the past in the past, like not holding a record of wrong, as Corinthians 13 talks about. Love takes no record of wrong. So it's so much to it, and it's an everyday thing, choosing that. In the end of the day, would you rather do life with this person, or would you rather settle for somebody who maybe not there to battle it out with you and to walk through it with you through the good times and the bad times?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. See, he apologized to you first. So, sometimes, that's something like what Michelle Obama said, when once a person go high, you go low, you go high. And so that's what he done. He took the high approach, and that's good. That's showing strength right there, because a lot of time it's not all about where we did anything wrong or not. Because, like I said, if I done anything because you got upset. So apparently you misinterpret something for you to get upset. So even though he didn't do anything wrong, so you have to say, well, if I done anything wrong, sweetheart, I'm sorry. If I, not saying that I did do something wrong, saying if I done anything wrong, because sometimes, by he, like he was saying earlier, by him being the leader, he the head of the household, he have to take a big approach. So he got to make sure everything runs smooth, kill. And everything. And it takes a big person to apologize, because we men sometimes we can be very stiff-hearted. It's either my way or the highway. I pay the bills right here. I do this, even though you are helping out with the bills. We still gonna say that something. I pay the bill right here. I'm the man right here. So you know how to calm down. You know how to be chill. So it's not all about because I'm the man. There's a lot of marriage, so that's how you can't keep it fresh like that.
You're right about that.
So you got to learn how to, in a relationship, it's a give and take. You have to be wise enough to be able to know when to do that. Because like I say, because we have issues, because like I said, it's all issues and everything can be solved. Just like saying that we have issues, a lot of times it's not the issue itself, it's you. Because you don't have enough knowledge to be able to deal with it. I have people come to me and say, Frank, I need to talk to you. I got issues. I said, yeah, you're right. It's you. Because every person's problem lies within themselves. You got to be a big enough person to know how to attack that thing. Take everything to God in prayer. The answers is in the book. You can find any answer, anything that you're dealing with, you can find it in the Bible. You can find it.
That's right.
That's why it's so important to have like a plan, like maybe have a marriage plan, like maybe we get to this point, we start doing this and that, we're going to do this, you have a plan. And so, have rules and stuff. When you come to you a certain way, baby, we're not going to argue tonight. Go read Rule 5. What Rule 5 says, in our plan. That'll solve a lot of problems. You go read it because you don't things. You don't agree. That save a lot of hardship.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was even thinking about, like, while you were talking, is like judging the person by their character and judging the person by their fruit. Because intentions is one thing, and then perspective is a totally different thing. So meaning that is I could intend it to say something one way, but the way you perceived it is totally different. And I can apologize for the things that I intended to do, but how you took it is something I can't take back. So I had to remind myself, like, I got to apologize for my intentions, but I also had to take into consideration how I made this man feel and how I'm going about that, and judging him by his character and his fruit. Is he normally a person that would do that? Is he normally a person that would say something like that? Or is this the enemy working on the best way he can to kill, steal, and destroy, and what was that scripture about? We wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Yeah.
That's not just for family members. That's within relationships. Like, you're not wrestling with that person. You're not fighting that person. You're wrestling the enemy that's trying to get and sever in between the purpose and the God ordained dreams and visions that he's placed in between the both of you guys, and individually. He's going for that. He's gunning for it.
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
why it's so important as a marriage and everything, you know, because it should be based upon God. That's why it's so important that every morning that you pray together, and every night before you turn in, you pray together, and you continue to have a Bible study together. You have to continue. That can be rule. That can be rule number one right there. Despite of how we feel about one another, what's going on in our marriage, we're going to continue to keep our rule going, rule number one going. We're going to continue to pray together in the morning time before we depart. We're going to continue to kiss, you know, even though just lock on and just do a wet kiss. We're going to do just do a little quick, if nothing else, you know. Number one, continue to do that, and see, then you'll be able to weather that. Because you have to be able to keep it fresh, because that's how a lot of relationships and everything wind up on the rock. They quit doing the things that they were doing in the beginning. You know, because and understanding too, you're not the same person that you were when you first came together, because you're going to grow, you're going to evolve. And some of the way you've seen some things back when y'all first met, you're going to evolve from that. You're going to see things different. And so you got to continue to be creative and keeping it fresh. So the relationship is something that you have to work on daily, not just every once in a while. You have to work on a relationship daily. And so you got to continue to keep that fresh. And baby, I love you. You know, no matter what, I don't, you know, you got to continue to tell them. They need to hear that. And every so often you just walk up behind that woman, man, and just, you know, just put your arm around and just kiss her on the neck, and then she you have to do stuff like that. You got to keep it fresh, man. Yes, you know, like you are confirming it that she loves, because a woman loves to be loved. You know, you got to continue to do that. It's the small things that count in a relationship. It's not the big thing. It's the small things that count. So man, it seems like you all have a beautiful relationship, man. I just love what I'm hearing right here, right now, man. So I can see you all being together for a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah, no choice.
Definitely. I know. You stuck with me now, girl.
So how do y'all spend y'all Valentine?
Oh, that was so good.
You want to say it?
Yeah. Okay, so the whole time it was a complete surprise for me. And I'm normally like really bad about surprises. I hate surprises, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to let you have it this time. So we gave each other gifts. Well, I gave him his gifts early. Some camera equipment and stuff like that. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then we headed out. Was it the morning? That morning, really, really early?
Yeah, it was that morning.
And we were driving. I had no idea where we were going. We got some food on the way. And then we ended up in Savannah. And it was this beautiful inn. And we just had a lot of us time and just looked around the city and just did a lot of talking. I think that was one of the biggest things for me, is that we kept conversation, because it's easy to, you know, have the fame and the lights and the super big cruises and stuff like that. It's nice and all when things get boring or you need to spice it up a little bit, but the conversations are the things that you hold on to for a lifetime. And it I don't know, like I was crying like the whole time. I was just in awe of what the Lord had done, just looking back, and it almost being 2 years of us being together, but it feels like we've been together for a lifetime, and those memories are to prove it. It was just beautiful. So much. But Savannah was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome. We get ready to close it up, man. It has been real. What kind of advice that you all would give to, let me ask Freddie right quick. Freddie, you got anything you want to say, man? Question, anything? I'm sorry.
Nah, it's been good. It's been lovely.
That's
You got any encouragements you want to share
Beautiful
with
couple. Huh?
You got any encouragement words you want to share with them?
Oh, encouraging words. Ah, man. Well, I would say that y'all on a good path.
Absolutely.
Not too many couples start off with Christ centered first.
Absolutely.
One encouraging word I would say is that never divide your energy.
I like that.
That's good.
That would be an encouraging word I would say to y'all. So when that season comes, a season of testing, just remember that the closer that y'all draw together is the closeness that you will feel. Either you are progressing in your love towards Christ and towards each other, or it'll be a time that you will have to face the true reality of love and truth. And the truth is that when y'all together the closer y'all draw together, it's the closer that you will actually experience or encounter the two becoming one flesh.
Yeah. Wow. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's another levels to that, but it goes beyond the feeling. I gotta say that for the first year of my 15 years of marriage, that I really have come to the realization of that. So, yeah, I get there. Yeah.
Hey, we appreciate it. Yeah.
Y'all will. Holla at me.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope that was an encouraging word.
Oh, it definitely was. Definitely.
Very. So I just want to just continue to encourage you all, just continue staying and have that no matter what it takes attitude. Continue to focus on what you can control, because you can't control one another. So continue to focus on you. You continue to do what's right, despite how you feel about certain things. Always focus on what's the right thing to do, opposed to with things that I feel like I should do. Because that's what happens sometimes. We let our ego, like I said earlier, ego gets in the way a lot of time, and our ego will destroy us.
Yeah, that's true.
Marriage relationship is a beautiful thing when two people can come together and see eye to eye. That's why you got to continue to keep it fresh at all times. Leaving little notes and things to one another, calling one another throughout the day and texting one another, saying little things. And baby, I can't wait till you get home this evening. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that to you. Just say little things like that, man.
Yeah.
That is very important. Baby, well, I don't want to get too deep into that, but we can talk on record sometime, man. I can give you a lot of pointers, man.
Hey, please do.
We call you, baby, when you coming home? You been gone 30 minutes now, baby. When you coming home?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say something too. I wanted to give encouragement to anybody that's out there. And because the world, they tell us that don't get married. They encourage you not to get married, and it's one thing is if you I'm gonna say this. So in the Bible it says Proverbs 18:22, whoso findeth the wife findeth the good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. So it's when you marry, then that's a blessing. That's you have favor from the Lord. And I noticed
it's a different kind of anointing.
It's a different kind of anointing, first off, and second off, it does something to you mentally. It's I don't know, it does something to you mentally. It grows you up. Your mindset is different. You know what I mean? And then the second thing is go ahead, I didn't hear you.
I said you have a paradigm shift.
Paradigm shift. There you go. Yeah, definitely. And the second thing I wanted to say is like, for any guy out there, like if you looking for the right woman, like the best advice I would give you to be the best man that you can be is read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and study the characteristics of Jesus. So, and I noticed like that's what everybody wants. Like Jesus was a gentleman, you know what I mean? Quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Like everything that anybody would want is Jesus. It's the characteristics of Jesus. So that's all you have to do, and like that will grow your relationship with Christ. And the more you grow with Christ, the better of a man that you would be for a potential spouse that you want out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Abby, you got some last words?
All right. For my ladies, I would say if you have to lower yourself or you have to shrink back on who you feel that you are and who God purposed you to be, don't do it. It's not the right person. And often when you have that inkling of something's not right, something's not off, even if you don't know what it is, just stick with that knowledge because God's giving you that for that reason. I mean, that feeling for a reason. I knew before I had gotten the relationship, before I knew Amos, I had this feeling that like my husband is close. My husband is near. Like I know he's here. And I literally had to talk myself into the relationship that I got into, that I was possibly going to settle into. And God will give you what you want. He might let you settle into what you want. And you're going to be a very unhappy person. He may bless it in the long run if that person is on fire for God or they're hungry for God or y'all try to turn things around. But at the end of the day, you can either get what you settle for or you can get what God has for you. And getting what God has for you is so much more because it pushes you into a new person. It pushes you into destiny and it gives you courage to do the things that God called for you to do.
Yeah.
So just don't settle. Don't give up because that person is probably closer than you think.
Well, I love that, Abby. You know, so you get what, don't just settle. You know, get what God have for you. Don't get what you settle for. You know, that's huge. That's huge. You know, that was the mission tonight. You know, what's the mission that you paid to come to this night? Just that right there. You know. Yeah, that was huge. I love it. I love it. Amos.
Yeah.
Tell them a little something about the movie that you're doing and how can they watch your movie? This and that. And, you know, how can they follow you? Man, this guy doing some great things.
Oh man. So basically, so what we do, so we how we call it, it's like evangelism in a different way. So we'll take like passages and stuff out of the Bible and we would make a short film about it. So like we have one called Forgiveness. And then the thing is we make it real. We make it real to where anybody can relate to it. We got one called Forgiveness, one called Gateway, and that's basically about different things and open doors that you can do that people do and they either know it or they don't know, but it allows the enemy to have legal access in their life. Mm-hmm. And you got one, what was the last one we did? Don't lose your witness. Mm-hmm. Don't lose your witness. Basically practice what you preach. So stuff like that. And we have a YouTube channel. It's called Spirit Walkers. It's a space, so Spirit Space Walkers. And you can reach us on there. Also, saltflix.com. We have them on there. And we also have an Instagram page. You can do Spirit Walkers Productions or Spirit Walker 37.
Mm-hmm.
And they're awesome too. You Jen, when you send them, they like they're real movies. You know, you'll be do what?
No, I was saying thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. You know, so you're gonna be seeing me in some of those movies.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, all right, with that being said, guys, I want you all to join us on tomorrow night. We do a conference call every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So join us on tomorrow night. And on next Monday, we're going to have two young couples that are going to be with us next Monday. And we're just going to talk about your come up story. your come up
Oh,
story.
okay.
You know, like how did you get to the point where you are, and somebody come up with some of the things you had to go through your come up story. So we're going to talk about that later. And I got two amazing couple that are going to be with us next week. One of the ladies, Amos, I was talking to you about today, that got a beautiful angelic voice. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I sent you the video. Did you watch it?
I don't know. When did you send the video?
I sent it this evening when you and I spoke.
Oh, I probably didn't check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know you sent it. I'll check. I'll go back and look at it.
Okay, and if you don't have it, let me know, and I'll send it. You know, so like I said, man, I had thoroughly enjoyed you all tonight, and so we would definitely be having you all back at some point in time, so we can be any service to you all in any kind of way. Please give us a jingle. You know.
Yeah, same here.
And we'll do what we can, you know, to come running. So with that being said, guys, we're going to, as y'all young folks say, it's been real.
It's been real.
All right, Fred, you got some last word?
I know. Thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate your words of wisdom and knowledge and understanding.